Hello class, today we're going to be talking about perceptions, and specifically perceptions within science. Now to do that, we got to get a little bit better with how we see the world. So in order to do that, I'd like to take us on a bit of a journey. To unlock this door, you unlock it with imagination. Beyond it, another dimension. A dimension of sound, a dimension of sight, a dimension of mind. You're in a land of both substance and shadow, things and ideas. You've just crossed over into the twilight zone. For those of you wondering, yes, that was a reference probably for your parents or you if you've ridden Tower of Terror at Disney. But to be able to mess with our perceptions and enter the twilight zone, you will need a sheet of paper. And I want you to consider the following before we move forward. Are scientists influenced by their perceptions? Go ahead and explain why. That'll be important to reference back to as we go throughout this. So take a few moments, actually write down your response. Now, I'm going to show you a series of images, and I want you to go with your gut reaction. The first thing that comes to mind when you see these images, don't sit and think about it too long, just write it down. I'll have some pausing so that way it gives you time to write it, okay? Here we go. What do you see here first? Who's your hero? How many black dots are there? Are the bars moving? How many legs does this elephant have? Hopefully you notice that there's more than one answer to pretty much every single one of those questions. And that's really based on our perceptions or how we're viewing things. So let's kind of look at each one individually here. So what did you see first? Did you see a face? Did you see a city? Did you see the woman walking in the tree? Or just the whole face with hair? Did you see Wolverine from X-Men? Or two Batman that are staring at each other face to face? This one's a bit of an optical trick. I'm not sure how well it shows on camera, but none of the black dots exist. They're all white dots. Your eyes are tricking you into seeing black dots at different points. Same with this one. It's not a moving image, but as you stare at it longer, it seems that as though your eyes are trying to correct those bars and make them straight, and they seem to seesaw back and forth. But nothing is actually moving. Does this elephant have 5 legs? 4 legs? I've heard of 8 legs in the past. It really depends on where you count. Are you counting the feet? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Are you counting at the shoulders? 1, 2, 3, 4. So there could be different responses to this one. Now, think about it for a little bit and think about with scientists, why we might not actually see the same things. What might make it different for you versus me versus another individual? Why could we all look at the same picture and come up with a bunch of different answers? Now, this brings us to our next topic. What is science? Because just like perceptions, science actually has a lot of different meanings to it depending on who you ask. So, science could be a class, could be a process, something you work through. Maybe it's a skill that you have to develop and refine. Maybe it's something that's just frustrating, or something that's messy, just gets dirty, things explode, or you're out in the woods, or something else. Maybe it's something that's uniform with nice crisp lab coats and just strictly laid out procedures and protocols. Maybe it's collaborative, where people are talking together and trying to share ideas to work through a solution. Maybe it's a little independent, where individuals are maybe working by themselves, isolated from everyone else. Maybe there's exploration. reaching new areas or looking deeper into new ideas. Maybe you're not leaving, but you're exploring what's around you. Maybe it's rigid, has a lot of structure. Maybe it has to follow a certain procedure. Maybe it creates fear. Maybe it causes others to be a little scared of what could be to come. Or maybe it, on the other hand, makes hope. Maybe it gives a new light to a situation. The simple answer to this question of which one of this it is yes. It's all of them. So let's explore a little bit deeper with what I mean by that. And I had to borrow some information from the University of California at Berkeley to kind of give this nice, a little bit more of a synopsis of science at its roots. So if we really dissect what science actually is, science is both a body of knowledge and a process. So when we say that, what we mean is it's both something that we have in class that's stored in textbooks, or you can find on internet videos with people like me telling you about topics. But it's also a process. It's a way we work through solving problems. Maybe we identify there's an issue, then we create an observation by that, and then we collect some observations to try to come up with a procedure on how to correct it, maybe a possible solution, or maybe a new way to do something that's never thought of before. So it is both in the textbook and in real life as both knowledge and a process. Also, science is exciting. There's always something new. We don't know everything. We constantly will need to learn more new things. So science actually gives us an exciting way to explore literally everything. It's useful. Sometimes, we create some things that have really transformed society. Think of your cell phone in your pocket, how you can communicate with anybody around the world instantly, either through a phone call, through a text message, through a video message. You can get your ideas and opinions out instantaneously with the internet. All those things came from science. The cars that you ride in, the roads that you're on, everything is science-based. So science is highly useful. Do we make some inventions that aren't so good? Of course. But that's part of the scientific process, is really working through that. And that's what also makes it exciting. It's ongoing. I said earlier, we don't have all the answers, and that's what frustrates most people, is they think of science as always having an answer. Science is the process of gaining answers and retaining what we already know, and sometimes looking at what we already know and throwing it out completely because now we have new information that goes against it and would be more useful moving forward. So it's an ongoing process where we're constantly changing our ideas and looking at new solutions with new data and new research and new opinions and new ideas that are all coming together. So the last part is that it's global. Science is not done just in one area. It's not just done by the United States. It's not just done by the United Kingdom or the Democratic Republic of Congo or in Japan. It's done globally, and a lot of things like the International Space Station is a great example of global community within science, where American astronauts are working alongside European and Russian astronauts to really try to do some experimentation in an area that we can't do it on Earth. They do it out in space. So it's a fantastic demonstration of how the human effort can be globalized for science. Now, all these are great definitions individually, but none of them really encapsulate fully what science is. And that's why I leave it up to you. I want you, instead of using somebody else's words, I want you to use your own. I want you to make it as condensed as possible and tell me what science is to you.